Hey, I'm starting this vlog looking a little rough around the edges, and that's because I don't have the energy to do my hair or put makeup on. But I really want to start this vlog because I'm feeling so much better from having pneumonia. So here I am. Last year, I asked myself the question, do I like lit RPG? And then I read 2 lit RPG books for the first time. This year, I have another question for myself, and that is, do I like historical romance? Now, the reason that I'm going to attempt to read historical romance, even though I am like famously a romance hater, like I don't enjoy reading contemporary romance, but I have this feeling that if I'm going to enjoy romance, it's going to be historical romance. And the reason for that is one of my favorite movies, like I would say like top 10 favorite movies of all time, is Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version with Keira Knightley, and the hand flex, divine yearning right there. But like I love why are you blinking? That was weird. Don't do that again. I forgot what I was saying. The reason for that is I love like the drama of a period piece. I love that we don't get like pop culture references. Like when I read a book and it mentions TikTok, I immediately want to tune out. Like I don't give a flying fuck about TikTok. I don't want to hear about YouTube. I don't want to hear about Instagram. I don't want to hear about Twitter. Like I don't care. And I also think it ages the book because it locks it into a certain like time period. Whether that's modern now or it was modern back in the day. It just is something I don't love, with the exception of in Dungeon Crawler Carl. I'm actually reading book 2 right now, and they did mention Stranger Things, but like in the context that they did it, like it made sense to mention like a relevant piece of media. And I will say there was another book that I read. It was about witches. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. If I can think of it, I'll put the cover here. But there was another book that I read about witches that did have some pop culture, like social, like cultural references. And I actually didn't hate it in that book either. I think it just depends on like how you choose to use it. But more often than not, the point is that I hate it. So that leads me to believe if I were to read romance in a historical setting where there isn't like technology the way that we know it today, and there isn't like the internet and stuff like that, it would be more enjoyable for me. I also, when I had pneumonia, when I was just suffering from pneumonia for like 3 weeks, I did binge the first 2.5 seasons of Bridgerton. I need to finish season 3 and then watch season 4. And I loved it. Like, did I love every episode? Was every episode perfect? No. But I loved, can you stop? Seriously, there's no reason for that. I loved the drama, the like court intrigue. There was like social how do I phrase it? Not like social politics. I mean, I guess it is social politics, even though it's not like the government, but it is like the political nature of like your status in society, right? So I loved that because it felt like, I don't know, it just felt like, I don't know, I can't describe it. I really enjoyed it. If I'm going to find romance books that I enjoy consistently, I want to branch out in the genres that I'm reading. So I've only ever read contemporary romance and fantasy romance. And I think that historical romance could really be like the pigeonhole of romance that I enjoy the most. This is such a long-winded intro, and I'm so sorry. I just have a lot to say about my journey of finding a romance book that I enjoy. So I think historical romance is the way to go. And I have 2 ebooks that I'm going to be reading to see if I enjoy historical romance. In book form, I should say, because I already know that I enjoy it in a visual media. Anyways, those 2 books are The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare and The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. Now, I know almost nothing about these books. These are books that actually come highly recommended from Riley at Riley Marie. Her and her community, like I had asked in a live show that was just for Patreons once, like, do you guys have historical romance recs? Because I trust Riley's like taste in that area. And so these 2 came highly recommended, and I don't know what they're about. So we're, as per usual, going to read the synopsis together. So for The Duchess Deal, Since his return from war, the Duke of Ashbury's to-do list has been short and anything but sweet. Brooding, glowering, menacing London ne'er-do-wells by night. Now there's a new item on the list. He needs an heir, which means he needs a wife. When Emma Gladstone, a vicar's daughter turned seamstress, appears in his library wearing a wedding gown, he declares on the spot that she'll do. That's actually crazy. Like, oh, you'll do? Wow, so romantic. His terms are simple. They will be husband and wife by night only. No lights, no kissing, no questions about his battle scars. Last and most importantly, once she's pregnant with his heir, they need never share a bed again. But Emma is no pushover. She has a few rules of her own. They will have dinner together every evening with conversation and unlimited teasing. Last and most importantly, once she's seen the man beneath the scars, he can't stop her from falling in love. Okay, fun. Okay. This could be fun. I don't love that he's like, you can't look at me when we have sex and don't even kiss me. That's so like cold-hearted, but I'm sure it's going to be like a Grumpy Sunshine, Marriage and Convenience. He comes around and falls head over heels in love with her because it's romance. So like that's the whole point, right? But I'm hopeful. It sounds intriguing. Now, for the Highwaymen, I heard that this one was like a little bit more like kind of dark. Not really like, my lights are pissing me the fuck off. Can you stop? What is your problem? I heard that this one was a little bit more dark. This says, they're rebels, scoundrels, and blackguards, dark, dashing men on the wrong side of the law. But for the women who love them, a hint of danger only makes the heart beat faster. Stealing beauty. Dorian Blackwell, the black heart of Ben Moore, is a ruthless villain. Scarred. Ooh, they're both of these MCs are scarred. Okay, cool. Scarred and hard-hearted. Dorian is one of Victorian London's wealthiest, most influential men who will stop at nothing to wreak vengeance on those who've wronged him and will fight to the death to seize what he wants. The lovely, still innocent widow Faerie. How is she still innocent if she was married? Is she a virgin? I don't like that. Faerie Mackenzie is no exception, and soon Dorian whisks the beautiful lass away to his sanctuary in the wild Highlands. Oh boy. Courting desire. But Farah is no one's puppet. She possesses a powerful secret, one that threatens her very life. When being held captive by Dorian proves to be the only way to keep Farah safe from those who would see her dead. Dorian makes Farah a scandalous proposition. Marry him for protection in exchange for using her secret to help him exact revenge on his enemies. But what the black heart of Ben Moore never could have imagined is that Farah has terms of her own, igniting a tempestuous desire that consumes them both. Could it be that the woman he captured is the only one who can touch the black heart he long thought dead? Okay, this one sounds really dramatic, and I hope it's dramatic in a good way. Also, these covers, just absolutely gorgeous. Stunning, beautiful covers. Truly just shirtless men. Shirtless men. Okay. Does anyone remember the old 90s romance covers with Fabio on them? I don't personally find Fabio attractive. But those covers were like classic. I used to see like old ladies reading them all the time. Am I entering my old lady era? I'm reading historical romance with shirtless men on the covers, and I'm baking sourdough bread as a hobby. I say I'm healed, and then I laugh like a sickly Victorian child. So it suits the mood of the historical romance. Okay, again, sorry for the long intro. I will update you when I've started the first book. I don't know which one I want to start with. I might just flip a coin because they both sound equally amusing, I guess. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And I hope we find an answer to this question, if I like historical romance or not, by the end of this video. Okay, I'm gonna stop yapping and I'll see you in the next clip. I want to say hi to the camera. Say hi. This is my mommy. Hi, I'm Waffle and I'm a bad boy. I'm a stinker. Okay, I'm here with an update. It's been maybe 4 days since I've last talked to you and opened this video. I don't even know how that intro came out. I just remember I was looking rough and still recovering from pneumonia. But I decided to start with The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. If you can see that, there's a glare. Anyways, yeah, I decided to start with The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare because out of the two authors, this is the one that like I know her name just because she's kind of like floating around the romance community quite notoriously. What's the opposite of notoriously? Infamously? Are those both bad? I don't mean in a bad way. I can't speak English. But anyways, I've read exactly one chapter. I read it yesterday, and I like that it gets right to the point. We really just kind of, get right to it. We meet the Duke, who I think his name is the Duke of Ashbury, but they keep calling him Ash. So is his name Ashbury? Sorry about the squeaky toys in the background. Whoops. And then the girl's name, I don't know the girl's name. I can't remember. Oh, Emma. It says it right on the first page I opened. Emma is a seamstress, and she shows up to his house, and she's like, I need to be paid for this dress that I made for your ex-fiance. And he's like, well, I need a bride, so what if you just married me instead? Basically. I mean, he also seems like an asshole. He had some very misogynistic and like objectifying thoughts about her, which I don't love. So I'm really hoping that we see him like change his tune and kind of like, become a gentleman and not be such an asshole. But based on the cover, they're going to get steamy. So hopefully he isn't a dick after a little while. But I will say the writing style is like really easy. Like it's very much, you can just, you're just absorbing it. There's no thoughts, head empty. It's very easy to just flow into. That first chapter really went by super quick. I did not continue reading after the first chapter because I was my dog is being crazy. I'm sorry. Because I was binging Queen Charlotte, which I have since finished. And we literally just came inside. You're not going outside there. Okay, as suspected, my dog is just using the potty bell as a mother I crave leaves bell. He likes to go outside and pick up leaves to eat, huh, you little gremlin. Anyways, I don't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, I didn't immediately keep reading because I was binging Queen Charlotte, and it was really sad. The ending, oh my God, I was in tears. If you know, you know. Like, I won't spoil it, but like, wow. I think Bridgerton is fantastic. In the lieu of historical romance, I'll talk about my Bridgerton binging. When I got pneumonia, I was like, I can't focus on reading. I can't lift my body up enough to even play a video game. I certainly wasn't doing any chores. I was just in bed. We were also iced in. I think my husband had like a week off, 2 weeks off of work where he was working from home upstairs, like half days, and taking care of me and Riley the rest of the day because we both had pneumonia. And so I was just binging Bridgerton. And the reason why I did it is because I knew I was going to be doing this vlog. And I knew that I had loved Pride and Prejudice. It's a movie I've seen 1,000 times. The 2005 Keira Knightley version is the best one. Come for me if you disagree. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get in the historical romance mood by watching Bridgerton. And I think Bridgerton's really fun. I love the drama and I love the fluff and the romance and the steam. But I think that Queen Charlotte just has so much depth to it. Like, I could have had the Queen Charlotte spinoff be like 5 seasons. If they had really just drawn it out and really dug deep into those themes that were going on, like, oh, it was fantastic. It was also nice to see familiar faces from Bridgerton. So we got Lady Danbury as a young woman, but we also got her as her older self in the Bridgerton. We also got Violet as a child and Violet as, herself in Bridgerton. And yeah, it was just really nice. I loved it. But also it was so sad. And like, I always liked Queen Charlotte in the Bridgerton series, but she is very like hard-headed and pompous and, self-absorbed. But like, it was so interesting seeing like where she came from and how she got to be the Queen Charlotte we know in Bridgerton. But anyways, oh my God, it was so sad. So I didn't immediately pick up The Duchess Deal, even though I had read the first chapter yesterday. I absolutely had to finish the Queen Charlotte spinoff because I was just obsessed with it. Oh my goodness, are you going to have a nap now? Are you having a nap? Oh, tired babies. You're so sleepy. Anyways, I've also been back on the Stardew grind. So reading has been not my ideal like hobby at the moment. I figured out how to mod Stardew on my Steam Deck, and I'm just like, this is crazy. I can play modded Stardew on the couch. I can play modded Stardew in bed. So now I'm just like having the time of my life, doing nothing and being a bum. But I wanted to give you an update because I am going to prioritize reading The Duchess Deal this week. It is Wednesday, so the week is already half over. There's also 2 new Love is Blind episodes today. I've already watched one. I have one more to watch. And then tomorrow is Bridgerton Day, so we get, I think, 3 or 4 more episodes? I think we get 4 more. So I'm going to try really hard to make sure I read at least a little bit of this each day. I am on chapter 2. Literally. And this book is quite long, I believe. Oh, there's 32 chapters. Not bad. So if I read 2 chapters a day, I'll finish it in 2 weeks. I need this vlog to not take 2 weeks to film. I'm going to try really hard to like buckle down a few times a day and just have like reading sprints with myself. Like read for an hour and get like 4 or 5 chapters done a day. That would be great. I say that, but like Waffle, as much as I love him and he is overall a good boy, he just is also a menace. So like a lot of the times during the day, I'm not really doing anything but having the TV on because I need to just be able to get up and like make sure he's not fucking eating something in another room. We have all the doors shut, but there's a big open concept here with like the kitchen, the living room, and the dining room. So like he has a lot of spaces he could be hiding and eating shit. So it's been difficult. With that being said, I'm going to relax on the couch. He looks like he's wanting to have a nap. He's fully like curled up into a donut. I don't think you can see him. But yeah, he looks like he's curled up into a donut and he's ready to have a nap. So I think I was playing a game of Stardew. I'm going to finish one day of Stardew and then I'm going to pick this up and try to read at least 1 chapter before he's done napping. I will keep you updated. I'm not going to update every single chapter because that would be tedious. But after reading the first chapter, I would say my first impressions are I don't like the Duke. He's kind of an asshole. The main character seems like confident for the time period that it's set in. Like she was definitely very like ballsy to go knock on his door and be like, I need to get paid. I'm hoping that it'll be like they hate each other until they realize that the hatred is actually love. And then they love each other, you know? I obviously they get together. They're gonna get married, I'm sure. And there's gonna be romance. So like it's not really, it's not gonna be shocking or anything when they end up happy at the end, I'm sure. But I'm just along for the ride. You know what I'm saying? So I will update you probably with more thoughts when I get to like maybe like the 40% mark. And then this will be spoilery, by the way, because I feel like I just want it to be spoilery. So if you haven't read The Duchess Deal or The Highwaymen before watching this video, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to pause here and go read them unless you've already read them. And then you can watch this. Or if you're never going to read it, you could just watch this anyway. Okay, cool. There are lots of men in my house right now. They are demolishing my master shower because it's leaking. But I wanted to tell you, I'm like 28% into The Duchess Deal, and I'm actually having a really good time. I was reading it last night, and I was like laughing out loud. I think the banter is really good, and I just think it's funny. I don't know, it's like funny and kind of cute. So I'll update you again when I can talk a lot louder. Hey, I don't remember the last time I talked to you. I am officially 50% into The Duchess Deal. I'm actually 52% in because I wanted to finish the chapter. We can't just stop mid-chapter around here. That's weird. I'm having a great time, which is really odd because I famously don't love romance when there's not like magic involved. I like fantasy with romance subplots. If it's a romance forward fantasy, aka a romantasy, I tend to be like 50-50 on if I'll enjoy it. But this is actually really good. I am having a blast. The main characters have this really good banter. Emma and Ash are like, they are convincing themselves that they hate one another, but you can tell by their inner monologues, because it does switch POV, you can tell by their inner like thoughts that they're really attracted to each other. And I will say the first sex scene that was in here was like the first sex scene I've read that like I didn't like really cringe at it. And then the second one was also like good, but she did use the phrase like velvety tip, which like I hate that. Why is it velvety? That's not accurate. It doesn't feel accurate, and also like why? Just why? But other than that, like it's been like not that cringy for me, which is great. And I think it's because it's not modern. So there's like less modern language being used, although they do say I don't want to get demonetized. So they do say like the word for rooster with a C. And unfortunately they also say like heat and wet folds, which I hate. But those are like low down on the list of offensive ones in as far as sex scenes go. Like the word for rooster with a C, I actually think is fine. Like, not that I would ever write a romance, but if I did, I'd probably use that word because it just, just say what it is. Like we always have these euphemisms for it, right? But we just got to get to the point. But anyways, yeah, so Emma and the Duke meet at the beginning. She's a seamstress and she walks in, like I said before, with the dress on of his ex-fiance, and she's like, "You need to pay me for my work." And he's like, "How about I just marry you instead?" Because he needs an heir, and since he got a lot of burn scars at Waterloo in the war, he's like, "Oh, no one will find me desirable. I just need to take any wife. You'll do, like, good enough." And so they get married, and it's definitely like a marriage of convenience situation. And so they're just like slowly falling for each other. And she's like annoying him with her like kindness, I guess, where she's like trying to get to know him and like giving him pet names. Cause she's like, I'm your wife. I can't just call you Ashbury, or I can't call you Duke. And so she's like calling him like Sweetykins, darling, my beloved. Like, and he's like, "I hate it. Stop calling me those names." But I think secretly he like really loves it. He's like, it's definitely like endearing her to him. And they just have this really silly banter because they're just like grumpy, like because he's just so grumpy. And I wouldn't really call it like grumpy sunshine. Like Emma's not really like a sunshine. I mean, she is definitely like a happier person than he is, but she's got like hardships as well, that we're slowly learning about in the 52% mark. We actually just learned that she was kind of like romanced by this local boy when she was younger, and he was like, a little bit higher station than her, but he kind of made her believe that he was like going to propose, and then he like took advantage of her sexually, and then somebody caught them, and then like she had a lot of fallout from that, and he kind of was just like, "Oh, well, I'm not marrying you now because people know that you're like defiled or whatever," even though he's the one who did it. So like, she has her own like gripes and stuff. She also apparently is missing a pinky toe because she got frostbite when she left home. She had nowhere else to go, so she walked all the way from where she was in the snow to London. And so like I think the Duke is like, "Oh my god, like, she has something wrong with her foot. Like, she's missing a toe." And then she also admitted to him that she's like, "Oh, I'm like infatuated with you. Like I look at you and like I'm really attracted to you." And he's like, "No, you're not. Stop lying." And it's just really funny because it's like you can tell that it's just these walls he's built up because he's scared. He got injured and deformed from a bomb going off in his face. And then the woman that he was meant to marry, who I don't think he was like in love with her, but like, it was definitely like a social match. And, I think that the way that she kind of reacted to him being like, "Oh, you're grotesque," like really hurt his feelings. And sometimes after they have sex, because he'll go to her bed, obviously he's like, "Oh, this is a marriage of convenience. I need to make an heir with you." And he's like, "Okay, so I'll come to your room every single night. Turn off the lights. You're not allowed to look at me. I also won't kiss you because this isn't about love or romance or anything." So like, but then every time the lights go off, he's like really tender with her and like, makes sure that she arrives at her pinnacle. If you've seen Bridgerton, every time afterwards he'll go out like for a walk, and he's like a vigilante, but people are calling him a monster because he's ugly. But like in reality, the only people that he's beat up are people who deserve it. Like apparently some older men were like harassing a young girl who was selling things at a stall, and he beat up the men, and then they're like, "Oh my god, a deformed monster." And so like people are like in the paper, I think it's like making him out to be this like bad guy. But if you really like look at it, he's really like a vigilante because he's only like beating up people who deserve it. Does that make sense? But it's funny because it's like he keeps telling Emma And he keeps telling like himself and his inner thoughts, like, I'm a monster. I'm cranky. I have a bad temper.
Hey, Bingo, check out my tower. Bingo, what are you doing? I can't help it. I'm in a bad mood.
But like in reality, like he doesn't really, because she keeps like they'll be having conversations and like she'll say something like their servants are like really trying hard to get them to fall in love, which I think is so funny because it's kind of giving like Beauty and the Beast vibes, which I feel like this is a Beauty and the Beast like historical romance reimagining because he's obviously like disfigured, so he's like hideous, right? And then she's like this beauty and she comes to his his house, and the servants are like, oh miss, he's so grumpy, we're so glad you're here, like once you guys fall in love everyone can be happy. And it's very much giving like Lumiere, Codsworth and Mrs. Potts. Like it's so funny. So they stranded them at this house that's supposed to be hers after she gets pregnant. He's like, I'm gonna just ship you off to my other house and you can live there and we won't have to see each other ever again. I just need a son. And so they like go to this house, and because he's like, okay, I want you to tell me like what kind of colors you want for decorations and what repairs you want made, and then we'll hire people to do it. So then his carriage driver strands them there. And he's like, I can't wait to yell at him. Rah! Why would he do this to me? And then Emma's like, oh, well, you see, they've been trying to get us to fall in love. And he's like, well, that's stupid. That won't happen. And she's like, I know. I tried to tell them that. But like, and then they're kind of like sitting there like, it won't happen, right? It's not going to happen, right? Like, they're definitely trying to convince themselves that they're not falling in love. And they just have like a good banter because she like naggles him with kindness on purpose, and she'll like smirk about it and be like, I'm so nice to you and I know you hate it. And like he'll be sitting there like, stop being nice to me, but then in his head he's like, god damn it, she's so nice. It's so funny. And so yeah, so at the point where I'm at now, she had just basically like admitted like, I'm infatuated with you, I'm like really physically attracted to you. And he's like, no, you're not. I'll teach you a lesson. I'll teach you not to be physically attracted to me. And then he like dicks her down really good. And he's like, did you learn your lesson? And she's like, no. Which I thought was really funny because it's like, why did he think that was like a punishment when she's been like lusting after him this entire time, even though he's got like his scars and stuff? She's like, oh my God, he's got a nice ass. Like every time he bends over, I'm just like staring. And she's like, I can tell he's like super ripped under there, even though he never wants to take off his clothes in front of her with the lights on. And so it was just really funny because I was like, dude, why did you think that was a good but I think it's also sweet because it's like, you know, the scene in Beauty and the Beast where she runs away and he like sees her and he like lets her run away, but then obviously like the wolves start attacking her, so he comes and like saves her from the wolves and he gets hurt, and then she like nurses him back to health, and that's kind of like the beginning of like them like falling for each other. um Nothing like that happens in this book, but she will keep saying things like, oh, like, you know, a boy broke my heart, and then in his head he'll be like, I should beat him up, why would he do that to you? And then like when they were stranded at the house, she was shivering and freezing, and he was like, here, wear my cloak, I can't let you be cold. And then she's like, oh, I'm just always cold. And he's like, well, why? And she's like, I don't know, it just happens sometimes. And then she's like shivering, and he's like, what monster did this to her? Why is she so scared all the time? Like he's definitely like really protective over her in his head, and then he's lying to himself about it because he's like, I don't actually care about her, I just have to protect her because she's gonna give me an heir. But like, bro, we're all onto you, like we're all onto you. And I also just think the writing is really easy to fly through, and I think that Tessa Dare has a really she has like a really humorous writing style. Like I think that the Duke is like secretly really funny. Like he'll say something seriously, and then they'll kind of like stare at each other for a second, and then they'll both like burst out laughing. Like he's just like really, he's got like a really dry, curmudgeon-y sense of humor, but he's like so funny. And Emma too is also really funny. She's just really like, she just doesn't give a fuck what people think. She doesn't care about rules, but like she's not like rude or anything about it. She's just kind of like, oh well, I can do things my own way and that's okay. And like they just kind of like, I don't know, they just play off of each other really well. Like the way that she keeps calling him like darling, Snufflekins, like she just keeps calling him like all these names, and he's like, I hate this, but really I think he loves it. So they've just had like this wild, I will say it was pretty tame, but like for the Duke, he was supposed to be like, I want to do depraved things to you, and then basically they just do doggy style. So it's like, what? But yeah, other than that, they just had like a more wild sex scene than they've been having. It's just been missionary up until this point, apparently. But so now they're kind of like talking a little bit after, and that's when she tells him like about what happened with the boy back home and how her father like threw her out and like basically was like, oh, nobody's ever gonna want you, like you're no daughter of mine kind of situation. And so now he's like angry for her. And yeah, they're like literally in bed when the chapter ends. So I don't know where it's gonna go from here. I mean, obviously they're falling in love, but I'm assuming that he's about to be like, oh, fuck your father. Your father's an asshole. But I really hope that she'll get him to come around because he's been avoiding society. He's got like drapes on all the windows, like heavy drapes on all the windows. Every time he goes out, he wears a cloak with the collar pulled up and a big hat like pulled down because he's like, I'm so ugly. People can't even stand to look at me. And like, I'm sure that's how he feels, but like, I bet if he were to just dress properly and go out in society, like, yeah, people are going to gawk at him for a little bit because he didn't have those scars before. But I feel like he's just overthinking it because he's self-conscious and scared. I think he's scared of what people will think because some of his friends apparently after he got the scars like stopped coming around, and then obviously his ex-fiance left his ass because he was so hideous. She just couldn't even marry him to be a duchess. So those people suck. But I'm hoping that Emma will pull him around. Honestly, I'm just having a blast. I binged Bridgerton yesterday in the morning and I sobbed almost the entire time. Those last 4 episodes of season 4 were so sad. Well, there was also happy tears in there, don't get me wrong. But no spoilers for Bridgerton. No spoilers. But yeah, I was just sobbing. And then the day before that I had sobbed over Queen Charlotte like multiple times. And so it's just nice to read something similar because obviously it's like kind of the same time period. Also, they referred to the town at one point as the Ton, and I was like, Bridgerton. But it's nice to like have something that feels similar to Bridgerton, but with less crying is nice. I'm able to enjoy it in a like silly happy way, like a fluffy way, versus like Bridgerton. The Queen Charlotte spinoff season and season 4 were very emotional. It made me cry a lot. I've cried a few times in the other seasons, but not like Queen Charlotte in season 4. Those were like racking sobs. Like it was bad. I'm really hoping to finish this tomorrow. Today is Saturday the 28th of February, so it's the last day of the month. I'm gonna try to read more of this tonight and hopefully finish it by tomorrow. Although tomorrow I would like to also film 2 videos that I need to prepare for. So I can either try to finish this tonight or try to finish it tomorrow night. But either way, I really do need to film 2 videos tomorrow because I have nothing planned for next week. This video obviously isn't ready yet. I've been struggling with my content, and not like in a way where like I'm not struggling to want to make content. I'm just struggling to like remember to be on top of things. I'm feeling very disorganized. And I blame the ice storm where we got iced in for 2 weeks. And also I blame getting pneumonia. And also I'm on my period right now, which is awful. Today's day 3. So it's like the second worst day. Day 2 and day 3 are always the worst. Tomorrow I should feel better, which is why I'm hoping to film something. But yeah, I'm just struggling to want to like stay on top of things. But I do have all of March planned ish. There's a plan. Will I stick to it? Who knows? That's another thing, is actually sticking to the plans I make. I'm struggling with. I'm just feeling very wishy-washy when it comes to my plans. So I'm really hoping to finish this book today or tomorrow so I can start the second book, which is The Highwaymen, for this vlog. And that one I believe is darker. I don't think it's gonna be like emotional. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. I haven't read it. I don't know much about it. I don't think it'll make me cry though, but I think it is more of like a darker like situation that they're in. I mean, obviously the Duke's like scars are not like fluffy in themselves, but the book itself is like a very fluffy, it's like a feel good grumpy sunshine rom-com, historically historical rom-com. So I'm definitely excited to read more historical romance. And you know what I was thinking actually? I was watching Bridgerton yesterday. I finished season 4, so I'm like fully caught up now, which is awful because I have nothing else to watch now. But I was thinking like I want to rewatch Pride and Prejudice 2005 with Keira Knightley because it's been so long since I've watched it, and that's my favorite one. I've tried to watch all of the other adaptations that are out there, and I get about 30 minutes into them and I'm like, no, this is not my Elizabeth and this is not my Darcy. I'm out. So I was thinking like I should read Pride and Prejudice. I've never read the book. I've never read a Jane Austen novel in my life. And it occurred to me literally yesterday after watching Bridgerton, I picked this up and read 2 chapters. And then I like put it down and I was thinking about something and I went, oh my God, Pride and Prejudice is historical romance. Jane Austen's is historical romance. I don't think all of her books are romance, but I mean, I think most of them are, right? So I think I'm not going to do it in this vlog. I'll probably do a vlog separately, like a full spoiler vlog of reading Pride and Prejudice for the first time. Because to me that sounds interesting, and I don't think I'm gonna like fully like 180 and give up fantasy, but I feel like if this keeps going as well as it is, this book and the next one, I feel like I could be splicing historical romance into my fantasy reads to kind of be like a palate cleanser between fantasy chunks because I'm having a good time. This is the kind of writing I need when my brain is tired. This is the kind of writing I need when I'm on my period and like I hate everything and like I don't want to have to do too much thinking. It's the kind of writing I need when the world is imploding around me because I live in America and my president is a piece of shit. Like it's just like a good like turn off your brain, enjoy the ride, silly, goofy, fluffy time. But without the caveat of like contemporary novels. Like I don't like contemporary books because I don't want to hear about the real world. And like, yeah, I guess this was the real world back then, but it's not my reality now. So this makes reading romance so much more palatable for me. And I am just as shocked as all of you that I'm actually having a really good time reading The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. And you know what? I think I'm going to have to get some more of Tessa Dare's books after this because 52% in, I'm having a blast. So unless the last 48% just literally takes a nosedive off of a steep cliff, like there's no way I'm giving it less than a 4-star. Isn't that crazy? Me, loving a historical romance, giving it a 4-star. It could get a 5. The ending could really, really secure a 5 stars. I don't think it'll be like a favorite of all time, but right now it's a solid 4.5, possibly a 5 stars. We'll see. I don't really have any gripes with it as of right now. I mean, other than like velvety tip, but like that's to be expected. It's going to happen. And it's not like I'm blaming the author. Like that's just kind of like, how else are you supposed to describe things? You know, like I understand she's trying to use different language because she doesn't want every sex scene to feel like exactly the same. So like I get it. She's trying to like intersperse the phrasing. You know, like it's not something I'm not like offended. It's just like I see those phrases and I just go, ugh. Like I hate them, but like I get it. It's fine. But she uses them way less than a lot of other like sex scenes I've had to read. So fully enjoying The Duchess Deal. And that's shocking to me. I need to go eat lunch. I'm hungry and it's lunchtime and I'm going to visit my family and then I'm going to come back in here and then I'm probably going to play some Stardew Valley because I did a lot of reading this morning and my eyes are a little tired and my head hurts because of my period. I get period migraines a lot. Don't recommend. So again, I need to prepare for those 2 videos I want to film tomorrow. And I do plan on finishing this either tonight or tomorrow. So you will hear from me again shortly. Okay, I am currently preparing 2 loaves of sourdough bread and trying to film videos to go up on my channel this week in between stretch and folds. So I wanted to do a quick update while I had some time. Last night I finished The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare and I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. It was so good. I really thought it was really cute. It was funny. The sex scenes were not cringy. They did have like a couple of moments where it was like borderline for me because like I just don't enjoy, like I don't reach for smut, you know, like I just don't enjoy that in books. But obviously I knew going into this that it was gonna have smut in it. But I will say the smutty scenes in The Duchess Deal were like pretty good. I kind of enjoyed them. A lot of the side characters really definitely like brought this to life near the end. In the beginning, we're heavily focused on Emma and Ash, who's the Duke. And we slowly meet some of their friends along the way. Emma makes friends with these 3 girls across the town square, I guess, from her house, from the new house she moves into as the Duchess. And I think those 3 girls are the main characters of the next 3 books because I think it's a 4-book series. There was like a little meet cute moment between Alexandra and this guy in a bookshop, and it was so like I could tell it was like the setup for the next book, you know. And there is this 11-year-old boy who figures out that the Duke of Ashbury is like going out at night and being a vigilante, and instead of like ratting him out, he's like, I want to be your assistant. And he just pesters the shit out of Ash every time he goes out at night. And he like shows up in a mask one day and is like, I'm your sidekick. You can call me the Menace. Like, it's so funny. And he like kind of saves them from this awkward situation a little bit. And it's just really cute. And there is like a third act breakup kind of situation, but I think in this instance, like the Duke is clearly someone who has a lot of trauma. Like, he lived a privileged childhood and he had great parents who died when he was really young. So once he goes off to the war and he gets injured and disfigured, like, visibly disfigured, this wedding that gets called off, like the way that his fiance at the time reacted to his appearance definitely made him feel like a monster. And I think it had a big impact on his self-confidence. And so like there's this third act breakup situation where Emma is trying to get him to go to a ball because she wants to help her friend Davina, who is pregnant and doesn't want to tell her parents. And Ash is like, why don't you just tell her to tell her father? Maybe he'll help her out, blah, 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 whatever. And Emma's father was a piece of shit when she was growing up. And she had got caught having sex with somebody's son. I don't know, whatever. And her father threw her out and was like, you're a harlot. You're a Jezebel. Get out of here. Like, you're worthless. You're a sinner, blah, blah, blah. And so in her mind, she also is like, coming from a place of this trauma where she's trying to help Davina, and she's like, she can't tell her dad, like he'll throw her out, just assuming the worst of him. And Ash ends up like getting pissed off at her, and he's like, is this the only reason you married me, was to help your friend? I am so like stupid to have thought that you loved me. At this point, they had already like said I love you and like confessed that they had feelings after hating one another this entire time. And so I was like, okay, cool. Like, are we not having a third act breakup? But then we did. But like, even though I was kind of like rolling my eyes at it a little bit, just because I was like, I know this is going to get resolved in the end. I really didn't think that the reason behind it was like stupid. Because, a lot of the times the reason is like literally just one person needed to say one thing and then everything would have been solved. I think this was him like still being really scared of being loved and like putting himself out there and being vulnerable with someone again, even though in the end he basically just goes and apologizes to her and is like, I'd take it back, whatever, blah, blah. But yeah, I thought it was really fun. It was so fun. And of course by the end, like they're all happy she's pregnant and they're a family, and they're like, she's not going to go off to stay at the house by herself while she's pregnant. And then he's like, okay, once you get pregnant, I'm never seeing you again. Like, now they're in love and happy and everything like that, which is fine. I knew a happy ending was coming because it's a romance book. But I think the journey to get there was really fun. I think the banter and their personalities really made this book pop for me, because she's a seamstress and she's used to being a hard worker, and she is used to providing for herself. And then she comes into this situation where like she's suddenly rich and has a title and she doesn't need to provide for herself anymore, but she still kind of like wants to like hone her craft and like be a seamstress and like, make things. And he's like, no, you don't need to do that anymore. And like, they just kind of bicker about things, but like in a silly way where they're like, it's definitely like a teasing bicker, and that just obviously builds on itself the entire time because they are just two snarky fuckers. They're both snarky in their own way. And I thought like it was just really sweet the way that he is obviously like such a grumpy, curmudgeon-y person like at first. And then you slowly start to see his inner thoughts be like, oh, well, I need to protect her because she's my wife. There's no other reason for that. I'm supposed to protect her because she's my wife, right? That's totally normal. That's nothing out of the ordinary. Like, he's lying to himself the entire time, and she's lying to herself the entire time. She's like, oh, he's kind of like really sweet when no one else is around. Like, he's really tender when we're fucking in the dark because he doesn't want me to look at him. And it's like, yeah, it was just cute. It was just really cute. I thought it was cute. Thought it was cute and funny. I laughed out loud quite a few times. My husband would kind of like side eye me like, you good? And I'm like, yeah, it's just funny. Like, just funny shit. Like, there were some one-liners that were just bangers, zingers. Tessa Dare, well done. I cannot believe I can't believe I gave a historical romance 4.5 stars. And I also really want to continue the series because I liked her friends, who I believe are the next 3 like main characters. I think it was Penny, Alexandra, and Teague or Tegan. Teague, I think. I don't know. Anyways, here I am continuing a historical romance series, but not in this vlog. This vlog, I need to pivot. And the next book I will be reading is The Highwayman by Kerrigan. I can never remember her name, and I'm so sorry. Kerrigan Byrne, I think is pronounced. I'll remember someday. But today's not that day. But anyways, I'm about to go do another stretch and fold. I got 8 minutes on my timer. And I wanted to film this update now before I forgot. I did just film a video, and then next time you see me, I'll have a shirt change because I'm going to film a different video. And then I have a box of stationery that I haven't opened yet. So I figured I'll open it with you because I'm not vlogging anything else at the moment. And, why not? Might as well. So I'll see you in a little while. Maybe later tonight after my son's in bed. But I will have a different shirt on. But it will still be today because I'm batch filming. Okay, you're getting the official setup view for this clip because I was filming earlier. So this is where the camera's at. I'm going to unbox my stationery now. I opened the top but haven't opened the box yet. Let's open it together, shall we? Okay, let's start with the washi tape I got. This is the storybook set. I don't remember what it's called. But this one's like kind of royalty themed washi tape. There's a sword, a books, this kind of like Celtic knot looking thing, and some crowns. And then the other washi tape I got is, this one's like ocean and mermaid maps. There's like this one that's kind of got tentacles and bubbles. This one's like got a nautical star. This one has like pirate stuff and some anchors. Cute. Honestly, I could have gotten all of the washi, but I just picked my 2 favorites. I also got a bunch of the sticker sets. I think I got all of the sticker sets actually for this new drop. Apparently I got 2 of this one. I must have really liked it. I got the Knight Sword, the Archer, the Treasure Map set, the Dragon Spire set, and the Books of Beauty set. We'll start with that one. Oh, so cute. And it's just 2 sheets of the same thing, so there you go. This one is very much Beauty and the Beast inspired. This clock is giving Codsworth, and then over here we've got Mrs. Potts. Oh wait, can't forget Lumiere, Belle's Mirror. Oh, stunning. I love Beauty and the Beast, by the way. If you don't know that about me, it's one of my favorite Disney movies of the like original. Belle is my favorite. This is where my enemies to lovers, like Loving Heart really comes into play. I cannot get that to shut. We're just gonna leave it. We'll do the Knight Sword one, of which I apparently got 4 sheets of because I am obsessed. And for good reason. I love these. This is beautiful. I love this art style, like especially this helmet. How cute is that? Kind of reminds me of Elden Ring. These are stunning. Well done. Okay, I got 2 of those. This is the Archer one. Ooh, very much giving Robin Hood. It's giving Robin Hood vibes. Love it. I love the gold foiling on the stickers. They're so pretty. This is the Treasure Map set. This one is so pretty. Dude, my neighbor's phone is so loud. I just heard it ringing. This one's so cute, so pretty. I hear my neighbor talking on the phone. Like, how loud are you talking, bro? Okay, and then the last sticker set is the Dragonspire one, which is so beautiful. Oh, dragons. I'm obsessed. So pretty. Look at that little baby hatchling at the bottom. Oh my gosh. I really like this one near my finger. This one here. So pretty. Our neighbors next door are really annoying. I don't like them. Okay, I also got this, I don't know what to call it. I think it's listed as collage. Yeah, collage paper book, collage paper pad. Because I am trying to get back into journaling again this year. I have journaled a few times. It is a little slow going. But like I could not resist. There's just such beautiful pages in here. Like, hello. So you can cut it out and like stick it in your journal. Like, look at that. Like, oh my god, it's so pretty. And I just could not resist. This one is textured. Ooh, that feels nice. Bit down here. It's like textured, just like cute little things you can cut out and stick in your notebook. Ooh, I love this page. This is beautiful. It's giving Beauty and the Beast again. Oop, some knights. But yeah, I don't know. Because I'm getting back into journaling, I really just wanted to make my journal fun and pretty. Sue me. I did get 2 enormous notebooks. Did I need 2 enormous notebooks? No, I didn't. But I am making a vow to myself right now. I will not be buying any more Arch and Olive notebooks for the entire year. Unless they make something like so perfect I have to have it. But I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to try really hard to resist. I promise you. I promise myself. I'm going to focus on using the journals I have. But I do want to get back into doing a reading journal. But it's already March. It's March 1st. So I don't think I'm going to be able to make that happen this year. But I'm ready. I'm gonna get back into like a regular journal mode this year and get into a routine, get into a habit. And then next year, I think I'll be in a better place to restart my reading journal. But I'm going to have it be like a mixture of like a reading and content, like a reading YouTube journal. Obviously, since my YouTube is book focused. Okay. So pretty. Wow. Actually, this color in person is stunning. Oh my god, the smell of it. Ew, there's a fingerprint. Okay, it went away. It's fine. I got the night one. I got the B5. It's enormous. Oh, but it's so beautiful. Literally just so beautiful. It smells funny though. It smells weird, and there's like glue stuck on this strap. Okay, it came off. I wonder if it just smells weird because it was so fresh when they packaged it, because I know damn well this shipped about 5 seconds after I bought it, which was literally so crazy. Whew. It is a little stinky. Literally stunning though. Look at that. Look at that beautiful. Look at it. Look at the detail. Oh my god. So beautiful. And like the same design is on the back, just without the foiling. But wow. I love this so much. This makes me want to write a book. Like, look at it. Fantasy book in here. Imagine. This is my author notebook. You know? It's not going to happen. But it could. It might. Maybe. Someday. And then you'll never guess what the other one I got was. It's so pretty. Oh my god. It's so pretty. It's definitely a purple, but it is leaning a little periwinkle. But look at it. It's iridescent. Oh my god. Yeah, this one stinks too. It is real leather, I believe, which is probably why it stinks. But I love that this is iridescent foil. The other one is gold, and this one's iridescent, which is so pretty. It's so pretty. It's funny because purple is my favorite color, and I love dragons. And as much as I love this one and think it's stunning and beautiful, I think I like this one a little bit better. It's picking up a little bit more orange on camera, but it's like a very dark blood red. I'll have to adjust the color here for you in editing, but yeah, I don't know. I think I like the sword one a smidge better, but this is also just so beautiful. Like, look at that. I didn't even show you the spines. I can't see what I'm looking at. How's this? Is this good? So one of these is going to be my reading journal next year. Probably this one. And then I'm like, I don't know what to do with this one, but that's what I got from Arch and Olive. This, the collage paper, all the stickers, 2 sets of washi. Ta-da! I hope that was good for you. Did you like it? I am going to go put this stuff away somewhere now. I am going to start The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne tonight. My Kobo is charging though at the moment, but it should be done shortly because it's been plugged in for a little bit. And I also have to charge the pen as well. And my husband's putting my son to bed right now. And my dog is in his playpen playing. So I'm gonna probably go sit on the couch with the dog for a little bit, wait for my husband to be done doing bedtime, see what he's gonna do, and then I'll probably read a little and go from there. I don't know what else I want to do tonight, but I need to organize this stuff first, I guess. So I'm gonna do that now, and then I will update you. Tomorrow is Monday, and there will be people doing construction on my house all week. They're fixing my master shower finally, and it's the last thing, knock on wood, that needs to be fixed in this house, other than the 2 drywall holes in the wall. But those are not like, active leaks or anything like my shower is. So I probably won't do too much daytime vlogging. I might be able to sneak in here when they're like making noise over there and that they won't hear me talking to you and give you an update. But if not, I'll just update you in the evenings until I'm done with the next book. And I managed to get through the Duchess deal in like 4 days, which is good because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, obviously. But I turns out I really had a great time. So I'm very, very hopeful about the Highwaymen. Although I do know, again, I am aware that it's like a little darker and I don't think it's gonna have that same sense of humor. But I'm intrigued and I'm a lot more open-minded going into it now after having read The Duchess Deal and really enjoying that. So this experiment's going swimmingly so far, if I do say so myself.
Wait, what's the soft thing?
It's called a windscreen.
So does it pick up your voice?
Yeah, it picks up my voice. See the green bar? When I talk, it goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Say something.
Hi.
Do I really have to sit here and film with this hat on my head? Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch you, so
Okay.
so in case you take it off, I'm gonna say
Okay, I just got to readjust. Hold on. There we go. How's this good? Okay, great. Hey, I thought I would update you and let you know that I am 3 chapters into The Highwayman, which is 12%. I think this one is shorter than The Duchess Deal. So hopefully it goes by quicker. As you can tell by my attire and the guests in the background, my son is home from school today. He had 2 teeth filled this morning and he was so brave. You did so good.
Yes, I did.
And Daddy said that you were like chilling and you didn't even cry and you were super brave and you had some laughing gas and your face was pretty numb when you came home. So we just let you stay home from school, huh? I didn't want to be mean and send you to school with your cheeks all numbed up and teeth hurting. So he's home today. Say hi.
Hi.
And now he's forcing me to wear this hat during my update. So hope you like it. But yeah, I'm only 3 chapters in. The first 2 chapters were both kind of long, like 25 minutes each, and then the last chapter was like 8 minutes. But I will say, I think it's really funny because this was not planned. Both of the books, The Judgment and The Highwayman, have the male love interest have like a deformity. Like the Duke in The Duchess deal had been injured by the war and had the burns on his face and body. And this guy, what's his name? I already literally forget his name. Dorian. This guy Dorian has like a big scar across one eye, and his eye, like the scar with the eye is like all like milky and really blue compared to the other one, and it was like hinted at that he couldn't really see out of that eye. So I think that's really weird because what are the odds that I just pick up 2 historical romances where both of the male love interest? Wait, if you're leaving, take your hat here. No. I'm good. They saw it. They saw it. It's beautiful. Take it. Okay. Skadoodle. I love you.
I love you.
So yeah, I thought it was really ironic that I would just like coincidentally pick up 2 books where the male love interests are like have a physical, ailment or whatever. I will say I definitely fell into reading the Duchess deal a lot quicker than I am for this one. Like the writing style of the Duchess deal was really like fast flowing. It was definitely like really silly and bantery like right off the bat, and definitely had more of like an entertainment factor. This one does start off a little bit more seriously, and it is kind of like these 2 kids who obviously are the main characters, a boy and a girl. I think Farah is the main character's name, and I don't remember what the boy was called when he was young, but his name now is Dorian. And they're not orphans, but they're at this like place that was kind of like meant for orphans, but I guess like I guess like illegitimate children, or even like children who like did bad things and just their parents like wanted to get rid of them, I guess, kind of went to this like boarding school situation. And these 2 kids at the time were like 11 and 10, and they like were just together all the time, and they had crushes on each other, and they got like fake married in the chapel of this like orphanage thing. And then it like flashes forward 17 years, and we find out that Farah actually is using Dorian's last name from when they were younger, Mackenzie, and she calls herself Mrs. Mackenzie, and she tells everybody that she's widowed. And so it's interesting because obviously when we get his POV, we know that like they aren't married. He's obviously not dead. She's not widowed. So I guess I'm like a little intrigued to find out why she like kept his name, because the last thing you see of them as children in the orphanage chapters, the first 2 chapters were in the orphanage, is where like the priest of this like boarding school like tried to like assault her, and so she stabbed him with a letter opener. Like, good for her. Good. I'm glad she did that. But like she's trying to escape and with Dorian, and they get caught and they get separated, and then it like flashes forward. So like I just have to assume that they never see each other again after that. And it's like, I just want to know like why she would lie and like say she was married to him, but and like what else unfolded in her life. I'm like interested to fill in the gap between this time jump. I'm sure that we'll get hints about it as we go along in the book. But I do think that this writing style is just like a smidge slower going for me to like really get into than the Duchess deal was. But that being said, even though they're like different, like I am still kind of, obviously, as you just saw, I am feeling like intrigued by the plot of this one. And I constantly am dropping this fucking pen. I just need to take it off when I'm filming. I'm obviously interested to see the plot of this one and where it goes and how we get there. According to this, I have 7 hours left, which feels not correct because it told me it was shorter than the Duchess deal. Well, maybe the Duchess deal was shorter. I actually don't know, but I feel like it shouldn't take me 7 hours to read that. I am going to do some more reading tonight. My husband is also working a weird shift today. So my son was home all morning because he was not like feeling up to school after the dentist. We also have the guy doing construction on our master bathroom still. I need to do more reading. I need to edit a video. I've also been working on a Notion, and I will say I have done zero. I haven't set this up. This is not my doing, like literally at all. My friend Inez was so kind to like do all these formulas for me and get this all set up for me. And I've just been the last like 2 days kind of like going over it with her and seeing what works for me, what doesn't work for me, anything I want to change or anything I need added or anything I want like formatted differently. And she is just like an angel. Like literally, I keep asking her like, can I pay you or something? Like this is a lot of work. And she's like, no, you're not allowed to. Yeah. So I've been doing that, but I really need to focus. But I'm gonna get going and I'm gonna try to like work on this Notion real quick for like 10 more minutes and then go hang out with my kiddo because I think my husband's gonna have to shower here shortly to get ready to go to work. So I will try to keep reading this. Today is Tuesday, March 3rd, and I would love to finish this by Saturday night so I can finish the vlog and start editing it for you to go up next week. Is that really hopeful? It is. It is really hopeful because I've been back on my Stardew Valley grind, but I also just started playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which I had gotten back in December when it was on sale. And I also am like really into that. I've only played like 6 hours of it, but it's so fun. So wish me luck that I can actually stay off doom scrolling and read my book so I have time to play video games. Okay, I don't know when I spoke to you last. I know that there was some B-roll in there and I did a talking update maybe 2 days ago, but we have had the guy here doing construction on our master shower for I don't know, for like the last 4 days. So it's just been a little hectic and I don't think I've been updating as much in the second half of this vlog as I really wanted to, but I have an update and I am 51% into The Highwayman by Kerrigan Byrne. Now I am going to preface this by saying I think I'm going to call it here. I'm going to DNF this one. However, I will talk about the genre and stuff, obviously because the purpose of this vlog is to figure out if I like historical romance, right? So when I picked up The Duchess Deal, I read the first couple of chapters and obviously like going into it for the first time, having never read a historical romance book before, I was like a little trepidatious, I was kind of cautious in those first few chapters. But the way that Tessa Dare writes, like she really just draws you in. The characters were witty. The characters were fun to read about. They had an interesting backstory. And the plot between the two characters, as well as their backstories, both made sense. And like, I think that overall it was well written. It wasn't like flowery or anything like that, but I think that like everything felt like neatly fleshed out. Like the characters felt fleshed out. The plot felt fleshed out. There were some descriptions of like the house and the clothes that really felt like very lush, like nice descriptions. And I had a blast with it, obviously. I think I gave it 4.5 stars. Now, The Highwayman. I'm not enjoying this book. Obviously, I just told you I'm going to DNF it. Also, this feels like a weird angle. Like, is that better? Can you see me? I also just am blind. I have I can't tell what you're looking at here. That's too close. Okay. Anyways, so this one, the historical romance aspect of it is the best part. Like the best part of this book, like I like that it's historical. Because again, like I don't like the modern day contemporary romance where like people are getting mad that oh, he didn't text me after our date, or he said he would call me and he didn't call me, or like I saw him like some girl's picture on Instagram, or like he's liking thirst traps on TikTok. Like I just couldn't give a flying fuck about like modern day like dating woes, I guess. So obviously reading the first one, The Duchess Deal, was like it took away all of that and it really made me actually enjoy this romance. And even the smut in the Tessa Dare one, like I said, there were like 2 or 3 times that like the verbiage used was just like borderline cringy, but like you can't avoid it. You know, how many times can you say the same word over and over again for like genitalia, right? So I get that she's trying to like keep it where it doesn't feel repetitive. But this one, first of all, I literally just read the first sex scene at 50% in, right? And she was a virgin and yet she had like 4 orgasms. Like I'm sorry, but if this is your first ever time having sex, it's not going to be like overtly pleasurable. Like, yes, you can orgasm your first time having sex for sure. But this was like, she was like describing it, and she's like, she was like, the ecstasy of my pleasure. And I'm like, you literally just lost your virginity for the first time ever. Like, you just lost your virginity. That's not like realistic. And on top of that, okay, I need to back it up. I don't think I've even explained to you what this book is about. I maybe gave you a synopsis when I was about to start it, but the main character's name is Farah, and the other main character's name is Dorian. We see in the beginning, there's this flashback, the first 2 chapters, of kids at an orphanage, and they are like 11 and 10. They have crushes on each other, and they like are, very like innocently dating, and they get married, like kids play around with that kind of stuff. Like they very innocently like get married in the chapel of the orphanage, and they peck each other on the lips, like a very gentle, very appropriately aged, I will say. I'll give it that. It was an appropriate romance for these 2 kids, right? And so they get married, and then the priest tries to assault the girl, Farah, the little girl. And the little boy, Dugan, kills the priest to defend her. And then so he gets hit over the head, he blacks out, she gets taken away. And then we flash forward to the future. And then we find out through her POV in the future that she goes by Mrs. Mackenzie, which is Dugan's last name, Dugan Mackenzie. Duggan, I don't know. Am I pronouncing that right? I'm not Scottish, so I don't know. So she still goes by his last name. She calls herself Mrs. Mackenzie, and she tells everybody that she's a widow. And then you find out through the course of the story that apparently he got sent to jail after he killed the priest, and she tried to visit him every day for 7 years. She brought him extra bread and food and like left it with the guards and was like, please give this to Dugan. And eventually, like one day she showed up and they're like, he's dead. You need to stop showing up. He died. So never come back here. So, obviously she like grows up and she tells everybody she's a widow. She's like very loyal to him, and she doesn't want this like pressure of being a wife in society, which fair. Okay. That's fair. But the thing that is aggravating me about this book is we get the flashback in the beginning. It starts in a flashback of Farah and Dugan. Is that right? Duggan. I'm assuming it's Dugan and not Duggan. So we get the flashback in the beginning of Farah and Dugan. And then we get the 2 main characters as grown-ups. But the main character, the adult main characters are called Farah and Dorian. Now, Dorian, Dugan, like it's similar, right? So right away, as the reader, you assume, oh, this is Dugan. He's going by some other name, probably to hide his identity. And then the story progresses, the story keeps going, and Farah is like a secretary for Scotland Yard. I say secretary, but like, I don't know, I guess she's like a borderline paralegal, like whatever the equivalent of that would be back, a clerk. Yeah, so she's a clerk for Scotland Yard, and her boss, Morley, arrests this like infamous criminal, and he's the Blackheart of Benmore, Dorian Blackheart, or Dorian Blackwell, whatever. Dorian Blackwell, the Blackheart of Benmore. And apparently Benmore is like the name of castle. Anyways, so she ends up having to go into this interrogation room because she's like supposed to be writing down the interrogation, like the questions and stuff, like any information they learn, she's supposed to be writing it down. And she goes in there and she's like, oh my God, he's so vile. Look at him. He just radiates evil. He's like so disgusting and vicious, but also kind of hot. And like, okay. And then she keeps talking about his disfigured eye. And it's like, okay, like he's a criminal. He's got some scars. He's been through some shit. We get it. But then we also get glimpses of his inner monologue. So it's weird because the writing is third person, but it will be third person following Farah, and then it will be third person following Dorian. And like that's fine, but there are no page breaks. There's not even like a space between paragraphs when it switches the POV. So the POV of the third person, like who we're following, will just switch like mid paragraph. And I'm like, at first it was really jarring. So that took a minute for me to get into. And then on top of that, I think that it's supposed to be like not obvious that Dorian Blackwell is Dugan Mackenzie. And I like knew it right away just on context because we get a POV of this flashback. Like that's the first thing we see is this flashback of these 2 kids. And it's the same way in the flashback where we're getting a POV from Farah and then a POV from Dugan, and then it switches to 2 adult main characters, and then it's a POV of Farah and a POV of Dorian. So like 2 plus 2 is 4. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're following these 2 kids and then we switch to following these 2 adults, like obviously that's him under a different name, right? But I think it's supposed to not be obvious, because as you keep reading, Dorian um keeps insisting that like he knew Dugan when he was a kid, and long story short, he ends up kidnapping her and he takes her to his castle, the Benmore castle, and he has a bunch of criminals working in his castle as like footmen, like maid servants, stuff like that, the cook, etc. And when we get there, Farah meets this guy named Murdoch, who is the only character I like actually liked. He is an older gentleman who was wrongly sent to prison because he was in love with the son of like a regent prince or something like that, and they got caught having an affair, and then the son of the prince accused him of being a predator because, God forbid you be gay back then. So then he got sent to jail. And like his story like just was like, like you could tell he just was like feeling so hard on himself, like, basically like ashamed of who he was. Like if I had never loved a man, like I would have never been sent to jail. Like maybe what I did do was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Right. So like you feel bad for him, and I like him. But Farah also meets the cook in this castle, and the way that she describes him is so fucked up. She is describing his appearance. She's like, he's really tall. The way that she described him kind of like made me envision that guy from the Goonies, the one that's like, hey, you guys, but like she's very derogatory in her head about his appearance. And then she calls him Frankenstein, like in her head, and she's like, oh my God, he's disgusting. He's like a Frankenstein's monster. And then he introduces himself as Walters, and she's like, oh, do you have a first name? And he's like, I can't remember my first name. Like he's definitely like a simpleton, like he definitely like has been through trauma and it affected him. Like he was in jail as a child. These were all children in jail in this like Newgate, I think it's called Newgate prison, and it's like a juvenile prison, right? And so it's like you feel bad for him, and she's like derogatory about him in her head, and like that never gets corrected. Like she's not saying it out loud. No one tells her like, oh, that's fucked up. It's just she's just talking shit about him, and then we just move on. But then he's like, oh, I can't remember my first name. And she's like, well, how about Frank? Because she's been calling him Frankenstein. And he's like, oh, Frank Walters, that's a great name. And then I feel so bad for this guy because he goes around telling all the other people at the castle, like the criminals and stuff. He's like, they call him Walters because that's what they've been calling him for like, 8 years or whatever. And he's like, my name's Frank now. She gave me a name. And he's like so proud of it. He's like so proud of it. And he like takes it to heart and is like, okay, cool. My name's Frank now. Frank Walters. Like, what a cool name. And in my mind, I'm like, she's calling you Frank because she wants to call you Frankenstein. She's a bitch. She's a fucking bitch. And I don't like her. And then on top of that, obviously it's like switching back and forth between Farah's POV and Dorian's POV. Dorian. But then like I had assumed that it was obvious that we knew he was Dugan Mackenzie. And the tension would be of us like being like, oh, when is she gonna find out? What's gonna happen when she finds out? Is she gonna be mad at him for lying to her? But then like he'll be in a scene like without her, like they'll be in separate rooms of the castle, like they're not even like they're like separate from each other. He'll be talking to someone else or he'll be alone. And then we'll get his inner monologue and he's like, I can't tell her my secret. My dark secret. She'll never forgive me. And then in the child's like POV at the beginning, her name is Faerie, and he's like, "Oh, Faerie? That sounds like fairy. I'm gonna call you my fairy." And so it's like this cute little kid thing where he's like, "Hello, my fairy. I love you, my fairy." Like it was cute at the beginning when they were kids, but then now we're getting these internal monologues, and he's like, "I almost called her fairy to her face. If I say that, she'll know who I am." And it's like he keeps hinting. I was being dramatic. It wasn't that obvious in his thoughts. But like his thoughts are like hinting at the reader. And I'm like, do you think the reader is stupid? Like, do you think the reader hasn't figured it out yet? Because I did immediately. Like chapter 3, when we switched from 2 children to 2 grown-ups in the POVs, like, kind of figured it out right away. So like, it's just annoying me because literally I think the author thinks at this point, 51% through, I think that she thinks that we don't know that he's Dugan. And she's like foreshadowing this big secret to us. It would be one thing if like the servants in Ben Moore, if the servants were like dropping little hints here and there to Farah, or if like, you know, he accidentally slips up in front of her and then leaves, and then we get his thoughts of like, fuck, she almost found out. I don't want her to find out because I'm not that kid anymore. And like, what if she, you know, what if she expects me to be who I used to be? Like, it would have been one thing if it was like that. Then I could be like, okay, cool. Like, the tension of this secret is that like we don't know when she's gonna find out. We don't know when she's gonna act, how she finds out, right? When she finds out. We don't know how she'll act when she finds out. But that's not the way it's set up. The way that it's set up is as if we don't know. And the author is like leaving these breadcrumbs for us to figure it out. And I'm like, I fucking figured it out 46% ago when I was like 6% into the book. On like chapter 2, on like chapter 3 or something, when we switched to the adult POV. Like, it was very obvious to me that he was Dugan. Okay, so those are my first few gripes, right? And then he proposes marriage to her, but not in like a romantic way. They haven't had any chemistry whatsoever yet. He literally kidnaps her. The very next day, he's like, you should marry me because it would be beneficial to both of us. And then they get married the day after that. So he kidnaps her. The next morning, she wakes up, you know, through the course of that day, he basically accosts her when she's in the tub. He like barges into her room when she's in there with Murdoch, who like has a privacy screen up and is like letting her bathe. But he's like tending to her clothes, cleaning her room while she's like bathing. And he like comes in there, kicks Murdoch out, and goes behind the privacy screen while she's in the tub. So he's like invading her like modesty after kidnapping her. Like forcefully, I will say. They drugged her. They kidnapped her. And then he barges in on her in the bathtub and is like, oh, by the way, I know your big secret. I know you're the lost princess of the Earl or whatever the fuck. And I want a seat in Parliament. So you have to marry me, and then I'll be the next Earl, and then we can have all your fortunes, even though he's already rich. He's literally fucking loaded. This dude's richer than the king, the way that they're describing him. But he's a highwayman. He's like a fucking criminal mastermind, apparently. Which is just like, I don't know, like financially, how does that make sense? I don't know. Anyways, so he's like, I need you to marry me because we can get revenge on the people who killed Dugan, and then also I can have a seat in Parliament and I'll have more power. And yeah, I'm so evil. And I'm like, oh, by the way, his shoulders are huge. Massive shoulders. And the fucking author makes sure to tell us every 2 fucking pages how big this guy's fucking shoulders are. So anyways, long story short, they have sex, but it's like he kidnaps her. The next day, tells her we're getting married. He doesn't even ask. He basically just tells her, this is what I need you to do for me. And then she's like, I don't want to say yes. And he's like, do you have a choice? And she's like, not really. Like, okay, but you definitely could have said no. And then they get married the next day. And he has this thing where like he can't touch people. He wears leather gloves all the time. It's giving like wannabe Kaz Brekker. I can't lie to you. It's giving wannabe Kaz Brekker. He wears gloves all the time. He has a disability, aka his eye. His body also has a lot of scars on it, apparently, and he's like embarrassed about them. And he doesn't like when people touch him. Now, I will say that makes sense. Him not liking people touching him makes sense in the scope of his backstory, because you do find out through his POV that after he killed the priest and gets sent to Newgate prison, he basically the guards at the prison like rape him and also whip him, beat him. Just absolute atrocities are done to this child. So like him not wanting to be physically touched, that makes sense. I get it. That like makes sense, right? But the thing is that like she agrees to the marriage and she's like, okay, I have one condition. You have to get me pregnant because the one thing I want more than anything in this world is a family. And when Dugan died, that got ripped away from me. And like my hopes and dreams of like, you know, having a happy family are never going to come true, which is like literally so fucking stupid because you were 10 years old. He killed a priest who tried to rape you and gets sent to jail. And then he dies in jail. But like you were 10 years old. She's like 25 or 26, I want to say, in this now, like as in the current POV, in the current time. And I'm like, you're telling me 16 years have gone by and you haven't once tried to date anyone else. Like, granted, that's like a tragic thing to happen to you, but like, if that was like your biggest hope and your biggest dream in life was to just have a happy family, like, you could have had that. But now it's like, she's like, all of the respectable men I ever dated just didn't do it for me. But this evil guy who kidnapped me, literally drugged me and put me on a train and kept me drugged for hours on end. So I had no choice but to come to his castle, and who also just barged in on me on the tub and is demanding things of me. I never wanted to marry anyone else, but I guess I have no choice to agree to him. It's literally like so like, it just makes no, it's nonsensical. It's just nonsensical. It just makes no sense. And yeah, so then we get to the sex scene, and obviously that's a problem because he doesn't want to be touched. So literally he demands that she strip down fully naked, like very slowly, tantalizingly in front of him, right? And that part I was like not really into it, but I was like, this is fine, I guess, whatever. Okay. And then we get like the smut, and he literally just lifts his kilt and like pulls his penis out of his like trousers and just fully clothed with leather gloves on, mind you. And also she like, has 4 orgasms and tries to like touch his shoulder because she's like so, just overwhelmed with the ecstasy that she forgets the rule of not touching him, and she touches him. And then he flips the fuck out and ties her to the bed. It's very weird. It doesn't make sense. I feel like in that moment he should have just left because she broke the rule and he doesn't like being touched. He should have just left. And then like also I'm gonna have to cut out what I just said so I don't get demonetized. This guy arrives inside of her and then doesn't pull out, immediately keeps thrusting, and then arrives again within like the span of like 2 minutes. He literally like arrives, just keeps going, arrives again. And then this guy, who also is a virgin, by the way, they're both virgins because they were so in love with each other as children, even though they thought they'd never see each other again. Obviously, she thought he died and he thought he would never see her again. They never like apparently just had an adult relationship with anyone else. So they're both virgins. And then, she has 4 orgasms her first ever time having sex. And he has 2 orgasms together at the same time. Like, he arrives and then keeps going and then arrives again right away. And I'm like, for a virgin? That's crazy. And also this guy's longevity, like the way that this guy has never touched himself because he doesn't like the feel of human touch, including his own. He's never like touched himself, and he's never been with a woman. And yet he's going for like 30 minutes. He's a 30-minute man, and then he arrives twice. That's crazy. That is crazy work for a virgin. I'm just saying. Also, his shoulders are really wide. Did I tell you that? They're so wide. His shoulders are so manly and wide and so masculine and wide. So anyways, I'm not DNFing it because it's historical romance. I actually am enjoying the genre aspect of this. I just think this book is bad. So there's that. Also, and I know that I mentioned after I finished The Duchess of Zeal before I started this one, that this one was like supposedly so much darker. And like this guy keeps saying how like he's like this killer, he's a cold-blooded killer. He kills people with his bare hands. You never see anything violent. The only violence you see from him is him drugging her and him tying her to the bed after she touches him. But we don't ever see him like being a criminal. I have no evidence that this man is a criminal. And I'm sure at the end of the book, it's going to come out and be like, these were always just stories. I was never a criminal. I just wanted to harden myself. So I made up these stories about myself because I'm a criminal. And it's like, it's not even dark because they're literally just talking about things that have happened, but they're not like, it's not happening on page. Like nothing dark has happened other than him kidnapping her. But like even that, it was from her POV. So she was just like, my eyelids fluttered open. I'm on a train. I'm tired again. My eyelids opened. I'm in a bed. Where am I? And then she like fully wakes up and they're like, oh, you've been kidnapped. Like the darkness is off page. So whoever the fuck told me this was dark, I was really expecting this to be like gritty. Like I was really hoping it would be like a true like enemies to lovers where like he is actually a bad man. But like he's done nothing bad to her. He's done nothing bad to her other than kidnapping her, I guess. And his like staff are all really nice. All these hardened criminals are all like super nice to her. It's super friendly. And like they all super care about her because, he's been talking about her for the last fucking 8 years of his life or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, I think it's bad. I just think it's poorly written. Also, there has been some weirdly like modern like phrases in here. Like he said quid pro quo at one point, and I was like, quid pro quo. Quid, I can't even say it. I can't even say it. But like, could you just picture a Scotsman in like what, the late 1800s being like quid pro quo? Like I couldn't. Is that slang from back then? I don't think so. And then like her talking about Frankenstein as well. Like I get that like Frankenstein was written a long time ago, but like it felt like a weird like pop culture thing. Like we did not need to bring that up. Like why did we need to bring up Frankenstein? I don't know. It was like the author was trying to be like, I'm so relatable. This ugly guy's like a Frankenstein. And like, I don't know. It was bad. I don't think I'll be reading anything from Kerrigan Byrne again. However, I'm actually really excited to read more Tessa Dare. I'm not going to be doing it like right now. I'm not going to be doing it like the next thing I read is not going to be a Tessa Dare. I really want to read some fantasy and some lit RPG next. I'm just in the mood for those things. And that's fine. I am very much a hop arounder. I like to hop from series to series. I'm a chronic unfinisher. It takes me forever to finish series. So, with that being said, I think what this has taught me, and I actually am kind of glad that I hated this book because I can recognize that it has flaws and there are things about it that I hated, that were bad, that didn't make sense. But the best part of this book was that it was historical. Like, I didn't like the romance, but that's just because these two characters didn't have chemistry and it was written poorly. In The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare, I had the best time of my life. It was so fun. I read it in 2.5 days, and that's all. That's really quick for me. And to read with my eyes, 2.5 days is really quick for me because I am notoriously a slow reader. I really like to savor things and read them at my own pace. I have also been like really, really back in the Stardew Valley grind. I also picked up another video game that I have been wanting to play that I've had for a couple months, and I really am enjoying that one. But I constantly was choosing to pick up Tessa Dare instead of playing the video games that I was also currently like really into. So I think that says a lot because it's a genre I'm obviously testing the waters of for the first time. And I was wanting to pick that book up instead of doing other hobbies. And this one I started 3 days ago and I'm only halfway in and it's shorter than the Duchess Deal, but I'm just like struggling to get through it. Every chapter is taking me like 40 minutes to read. Just because like I'm just not enjoying it, but I don't think that it's because of the genre. So, I think that's still conclusive to like saying like yes, I think historical romance is a genre that I should add to my repertoire when I'm like wanting to read outside of my comfort zone because obviously, if you're new here and you don't know yet, hey, how are you? How's it going? I'm a fantasy girly. Like that's my genre. That's my wheelhouse, you know? But everybody has days where like they just want to branch out and read something different or they need a palate cleanser before they dive back into another deep fantasy. So I think that I'm going to officially be adding historical romance. And I also am very intrigued now to try like Jane Austen because obviously that's historical romance, like Pride and Prejudice is historical romance, although it is a classic. So I'm sure the writing style will be harder for me to get into. But I still am like, I love the movie so much. I love Pride and Prejudice, 2005, Keira Knightley, the best. I forget his name, but he is the best Darcy. Hands down, he's my favorite Darcy. Like, he's so beautiful. Like, he's just a beautiful man. I don't know. I just think he was perfect. So, like, I'm really intrigued now to read the book. I had never planned on reading the book because I had famously hated romance. And I just assumed that reading historical romance, even though I like watching it in physical media, I assumed that reading historical romance, I would also hate it. Obviously, I hated that one, but I didn't hate it because of the genre. I hated it because I had other valid reasons to hate it. But I think the Tessa Dare book being literally just such a blast, I think it really proved to me that I do like historical romance in both visual media and physical media, aka books. And obviously, I just binged Bridgerton. Not like this in this vlog, but like in the last like 3 weeks, I have binged every season of Bridgerton. I binged Queen Charlotte, and like I literally want more. I'm like, we gotta wait 2 more years for another season of Bridgerton. That's crazy. So like I'm already contemplating rewatching Bridgerton. Who am I? Who am I? Look at me. This is like very out of my ordinary for me. I'm very much like not a romance person. Like I'm not like lovey-dovey in real life. I'm very much like a bitch. I'm like the black cat wife. Like I'm like mean and my husband loves it. I don't know why, but like I'm so mean and he just like smiles and is like, that's my mean wife. And he'll be all, you're so cute when you're angry. Like, you know, like that's just our relationship. Obviously like I'm nice to him as well. Don't get me wrong. Like I am also nice to my husband, but like our like banter is like me being a bitch and him being like, you're so cute when you're mad, you know? So like, even just like in my real life, like romance isn't really my thing. I mean, I do try to be romantic, from time to time, but regardless, the point is I'm shocked. I'm glad I read the Tessa Dare one first, because if I had read this one first and ended up DNFing and like hating it, I would have been dragging ass to start the Tessa Dare one after this, because this one, like, it was just cringy, but not even like, it wasn't even like the words used during the sex scene. I mean, I will say like the sex scene was annoying because it didn't feel like there was no chemistry and like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt like weird. And but like the words she used were fine. Like I guess that was fine. Um but yeah, I don't know. If I had read this first, I would not want to have to pick up the Tessa Dare book right now, and then I would miss out on all the fun I had when I read it. So I'm glad I read that one first. And I'm going to 36 minutes. Girl, you've been yapping. So this is like literally the longest vlog update I think I've ever done in my entire life. But thank you so, so much for watching. And if you've made it this far in the video, leave some heart emojis down in the comments. And I will see you in another video soon. Bye.